Ramon Ferrer Cancho is a computer scientist and a tenured associate professor at the Polytechnic University of Catalonia. His research centers on statistical patterns in human language, animal communication, and other biological systems, with a particular focus on linguistic laws. A main goal of his work is to develop a predictive mathematical theory of language. He is known for pioneering the statistical study of syntactic dependencies and for proposing the principle of dependency distance minimization, which suggests that words in sentences are ordered to minimize the sum of distances between syntactically related words. His research also explores topics such as complex systems, information theory, and network theory as they apply to linguistics, and he has investigated the origins of Zipf's law, a statistical law concerning word frequency. Ramon Ferrer Cancho's early life and academic journey are marked by a diverse and interdisciplinary educational background. He earned degrees in both physics and linguistics in 1997 and 2003, respectively. Before becoming a tenured associate professor, he worked as a teacher in secondary school and at the Terrassa Art and Design School from 1997 to 2023. This combination of a hard science background with a focus on linguistics set the stage for his future research. His doctoral thesis, completed in 2014, was a transdisciplinary work in cognitive science that delved into the field of quantitative linguistics, bringing together his varied interests to study the mathematical and statistical patterns underlying language. 1999 Red Queen Dynamics, Competition, and Critical Points in a Model of RNA Virus Quasi-Species. 2002 Regimes in the Frequency of Words and the Origin of Complex Lexicons. 2001 Two Regimes in the Frequency of Words and the Origins of Complex Lexicons, Zipf's Law Revisited. The Small World of Human Language. Topology of Technology Graphs, Small World Patterns in Electronic Circuits. Multiple infection dynamics has pronounced effects on the fitness of RNA viruses. Topology of Technology Graphs, Small World Patterns in Electronic Circuits. 2002 Selection, Tinkering, and Emergence in Complex Networks. Quantifying the Semantic Contribution of Particles. Zipf's Law and Random Texts. Selection, Tinkering and Emergence in Complex Networks, Crossing the Land of Tinkering. Scale-Free Networks from Optimal Design. 2003 Language, Universals, Principles, and Origins. Optimization in Complex Networks. Statistical Mechanics of Complex Networks. Least Effort and the Origins of Scaling in Human Language. Universality in Syntactic Dependency Networks. 2004 Euclidean Distance between Syntactically Linked Words. Patterns in Syntactic Dependency Networks. Sobre la singularitat del lenguaje humano. 2005 The Consequences of Zipf's Law for Syntax and Symbolic Reference. The variation of Zipf's law in human language. Can simple models explain Zipf's law in all cases? Hidden communication aspects inside the exponent of Zipf's law. Decoding least effort and scaling in signal frequency distributions. The structure of syntactic dependency networks. Insights from recent advances in network theory. 2006 Why do syntactic links not cross? Long-term correlations in the surface behavior of dolphins. When language breaks into pieces, a conflict between communication through isolated signals and language. On the universality of Zipf's law for word frequencies. 2007 The global minima of the communicative energy of natural communication systems. Spectral methods cluster words of the same class in a syntactic dependency network. Correlations in the organization of large-scale syntactic dependency networks. 2008 Some limits of standard linguistic typology, the case of Sissow's models for the frequencies of the 6 possible orderings of S, V, and O. Some word order biases from limited brain resources, a mathematical approach. A human model of color term evolution. Pragmatic plasticity, a pivotal design feature. Long-distance dependencies are not uniquely human. Evolution. The evolution of language, proceedings of the 7th International Conference of Olang 7, Barcelona, Spain, 12–15 March 2008. Power laws and the golden number. 2009 A law of word meaning in dolphin whistle types. Efficient coding in dolphin surface behavioral patterns. The frequency spectrum of finite samples from the intermittent silence process. Universal complex structures in written language. Scaling laws in cognitive science. Estalvi energetica leslings. 2010 The self-organization of genomes. Scaling laws in cognitive sciences. Random texts do not exhibit the real Zipf's law-like rank distribution. Estrategias de medida del rendimiento en una asignatura teórica difícil de la fase selectiva. El bajo rendimiento teórico de los alumnos en asignaturas teórico-prácticas, posible soluciones. Network theory. Information theory. 2011 Random models of Menz-Erath, Altman law in genomes. Information content versus word length in random typing. Size of the whole versus number of parts in genomes. 2012 A practical recipe to fit discrete power law distributions. The span of correlations in dolphin whistle sequences. The exponent of Zipf's law in language ontogeny. Statistical patterns of human language in other species, facts, origins, and controversies. The challenges of Menz-Erath's law in genomes. 2013 The optimality of attaching unlinked labels to unlinked meanings. The law of brevity in macaque vocal communication is not an artifact of analyzing mean call durations. Constant conditional entropy and related hypotheses. Nonlinear regression on dependency trees. Networks in cognitive science. Random crossings in dependency trees. The parameters of the Menz-Erath-Altman law in genomes, ubiness, length, crossings and their relationships in dependency trees. The failure of the law of brevity in 2 New World primates. Statistical caveats. The evolution of the exponent of Zipf's law in language ontogeny. Random models of Menz-Erath-Altman law in genomes Vol 107, pg 167, 2012. Erratum to random models of Menz-Erath, Altman law in genomes Biosystems 107 3 2012 167 to 173. Constant entropy rate and related hypotheses versus real language. The challenges of statistical patterns of language, the case of Menz-Erath's law in genomes. 2014 A stronger null hypothesis for crossing dependencies. When is Menz-Erath-Altman law mathematically trivial? A new approach. The risks of mixing dependency lengths from sequences of different length. The meaning frequency law in Zipf's optimization models of communication. Introduction to IGRAV. Beyond description. Comment on approaching human language with complex networks by Kong and Liu. The evolution of polysemy in child language. Why might SOV be initially preferred and then lost or recovered? A theoretical framework. Compression as a universal principle of animal behavior. 2015 Kaufman's adjacent possible in word order evolution. Liberating language research from dogmas of the 20th century. A commentary on the now or never bottleneck, a fundamental constraint on language, by Christensen and Chittier 2016. Zipf's law for word frequencies, word forms versus lemmas in long texts. Compression and the origins of Zipf's law of abbreviation. Linguistic laws in primate vocal communication. Book of Abstracts Mokfong BCN 2017. The Origins of the Scarcity of Crossing Dependencies in Languages. Reply to the commentary: be careful when assuming the obvious by PM Alday. The placement of the head that minimizes online memory, a complex systems approach. 2016 Fast calculation of entropy with Zhang's estimator. Compression and the origins of Zipf's law for word frequencies. Crossings as a side effect of dependency lengths. Testing the robustness of laws of polysemy and brevity versus frequency. The scaling of the minimum sum of edge lengths in uniformly random trees. Gelada vocal sequences follow Menzeratha's linguistic law. The infochemical core. Acoustic sequences in non-human animals, a tutorial review and prospectus. The scaling of the minimum sum of edge lengths in uniformly random trees. Semblant circa semblant la formació de grups de treball en la pràctica de la programació. Semblant circa semblant. Zipf's law of abbreviation as a language universal. Non-crossing dependencies, least effort, not grammar. 2017 Scarcity of crossing dependencies, a direct outcome of a specific constraint. A dependency look at the reality of constituency. Fast calculation of entropy with Zhang's estimator. Towards a theory of word order. Comment on dependency distance, a new perspective on syntactic patterns in natural language by Haidao Liu et al. The entropy of words' learnability and expressivity across more than 1,000 languages. The placement of the head that maximizes predictability. An information theoretic approach. Thoughts about disordered thinking, measuring and quantifying the laws of order and disorder. A correction on Chaloika's algorithm for minimum linear arrangement of trees. Epidemic models over networks. Linguistic laws in chimpanzee gestural communication. Does like seek like the formation of working groups in a programming project. Finding community structure. A correction on Chaloika's algorithm for minimum linear arrangement of trees. 2018 The polysemy of the words that children learn over time. The origins of Zipf's meaning frequency law. Optimization models of natural communication. Are crossing dependencies really scarce? CAIM, circa I analize de informação massiva. José María de Oleza Arredondo, S.J. 1887–1975. The evolution of optimized language in the light of standard information theory. 2019 Polysemy and brevity versus frequency in language. Memory limitations are hidden in grammar. The distinct flavors of Zipf's law in the rank size and in the size distribution representations, and its maximum likelihood fitting. Proceedings of the first workshop on quantitative syntax Quasi, Syntax Fest 2019. Syntax Fest 2019 invited talk dependency distance minimization, facts, theory, and predictions. The sum of edge lengths in random linear arrangements. Linguistic laws in chimpanzee gestural communication. Replication data for, memory limitations are hidden in grammar. Linguística quantitativa, la estadística de las palabras. Edge crossings in linear arrangements, from theory to algorithms and applications. 2020 Distinct flavors of Zipf's law and its maximum likelihood fitting, rank size and size distribution representations. Reappraising the distribution of the number of edge crossings of graphs on a sphere. The variation of the sum of edge lengths in linear arrangements of trees. Cognitive constraints built into formal grammars, implications for language evolution. Fast calculation of the variance of edge crossings in random arrangements. Fast calculation of the variance of edge crossings in random linear arrangements. Edge crossings in random linear arrangements. Introduction to Network Dynamics. 2021 Zipf's laws of meaning in Catalan. The Linear Arrangement Library. A new tool for research on syntactic dependency structures. Dependency distance minimization predicts compression. The advent and fall of a vocabulary learning bias from communicative efficiency. Bounds of the sum of edge lengths in linear arrangements of trees. Anti-dependency distance minimization in short sequences. A graph-theoretic approach. 2022 The distribution of syntactic dependency distances, variable expression of linguistic laws in ape gesture, a case study from chimpanzee sexual solicitation. Linear time calculation of the expected sum of edge lengths in random projective linearizations of trees. The optimality of word lengths. Theoretical foundations and an empirical study. The expected sum of edge lengths in planar linearizations of trees. Theory and applications. Linear time calculation of the expected sum of edge lengths in planar linearizations of trees. Optimal coding and the origins of Zipf's law for word frequencies. Minimum projective linearizations of trees in linear time. Linguistic laws in biology. Optimality of syntactic dependency distances. IRRS, Information Retrieval and Recommender Systems. Parallels of human language in the behavior of bottlenose dolphins. 2023 Swap distance minimization in SOV languages. Cognitive and mathematical foundations. On the maximum linear arrangement problem for trees. Linguistica quantitativa y las linguistics, de la lingüística o la inteligencia artificial y la tecnoética. Direct and indirect evidence of compression of word lengths. Zipf's law of abbreviation revisited. 2024 Predictability maximization and the origins of word order harmony. Swap distance minimization beyond entropy minimization in word order variation. The maximum linear arrangement problem for trees under projectivity and planarity. 2025 On the class of coding optimality of human languages and the origins of Zipf's law. The exponential distribution of the orders of demonstrative, numeral, adjective and noun. Who is the root in a syntactic dependency structure? The optimal placement of the head in the noun phrase. The case of demonstrative, numeral, adjective and noun.